Hello there, YouTube viewers. This is Bible Believer 2009. Doing another vlog, this time about an article I just read online about a town called, let's see here, let me get this right here in Massachusetts. This is kind of a funny one. Swampscott, yeah, it's a town called Swampscott, Massachusetts, where a city councilman, Barry Greenfield, I think that's what his name is, put forth an ordinance. I guess he was trying to do a proposal to pass an ordinance which would give the police the power to basically come into your house anytime they want to without a warrant in order to enforce some ridiculous gun law that they have there in Massachusetts. You know, basically telling you how, how you have to store your guns in your own house, which I think that law itself is unconstitutional. I don't think the government should be telling people how to store their guns or anything else on their own property like that. It's just ridiculous. You can't. It's unenforceable. I mean, But anyway, but apparently this guy, this police state supporter, Barry Greenfield, put forth the ordinance or the proposal. Basically, he thinks the police should just be able to go in anytime they want to, no warrant, no nothing like that. Be able to just barge right in your house and check your guns and everything like that. So I read the article. I've done some research on this. I did call the city administrator's office. You can look it up online. It's Swampscott, Massachusetts, by the way. Left some comments with them, and then I called the police department, and I got some good news from them. I talked to an officer of the Swampscott Police Department, and he said that the police department and the police chief is not supporting Barry Greenfield's proposal because they know that it's illegal. It's unconstitutional. You can't barge into somebody's house without having, probable cause, and you got to get a warrant issued by a judge before they can go into somebody's house. And the officer told me that the police department does not support Barry Greenfield's proposal. For a police state, and in fact, what the police officer told me was that Barry Greenfield himself has had to withdraw the proposal. I bet you probably because he probably got a lot of angry phone calls. And so that's some good news. The police state, at least in this small town, has been defeated for now. But I really think this Barry Greenfield should be recalled. And he should not be allowed to be an elected representative because he apparently does not know the Constitution, is very ignorant of the law, and this would have been a disaster right here. If they would have passed that ordinance, it would have been a disaster. Swampscott, Massachusetts would have been sued. They got over 600 gun owners in that town, at least according to the article I read, and I would hope that every one of those 600 gun owners would have filed lawsuits against the city if they would have passed it. I would have hoped they would. That'd be 600 lawsuits. And that town would not have been able to win that because, again, no court is going to rule in favor of violating the Fourth Amendment. That's the Fourth Amendment mandates before the police can search you or your property, they have to have a warrant supported by oath or affirmation, by probable cause, and it's got to be specific too about what they're doing, the things or person to be seized, and where they're searching and everything like that. It has to be specific, and you have to go before a judge to get a warrant. They just can't barge into somebody's house like a goon squad, okay, like the Gestapo and search around, and no court. And I guarantee you, had this ordinance went into effect and they tried that, they would have been sued and they would have lost. And so it's just, it's one more indicator to me how the anti-gun agenda here, these people who support it, they're extremists. These people are nuts off their rocker, and they're willing to try to violate the U.S. Constitution and violate people's civil rights, their U.S. constitutional rights, in order to pursue their ridiculous agenda. And they realize they can't. And by the way, the U.S. Supreme Court, I would like to put this out in this video, they did rule that the Second Amendment is an individual right to keep and bear arms. So these state legislators and local city, they are to remember that. But see, they can't see what these anti-gun control morons are doing. These idiots, they they can't completely take your guns away from you. They know this because the Supreme Court ruled that you do have a individual right to keep and bear arms, which is what the founding fathers originally intended with that amendment. But and so they're going to basically make it as hard on you as possible to own a firearm, which is illegal. Now, you know, boy, I get, and it's just, it's so frustrating and aggravating. We're losing our individual rights, our individual freedoms, and we're seeing America becoming more and more like a police state and ridiculous, stupid. You see, I don't know where Barry Greenfield would have got the idea that him and his local city here, this little bitty city, they could pass an ordinance and somehow void out the U.S. Constitution. I don't get the logic in that, but you people like this here, this Barry Greenfield, people like this, it seems to me they act like controlled freaks. They just think because they should just have the power to be like God or something and do whatever they want. Mr. Greenfield, you are not God. You are not above the law. You have to respect the individual freedoms and the liberties and the property rights of the people. And people like this guy, this Barry Greenfield, I just don't think they should even be in office. This guy should be recalled, and he's just not doing his job. He's very ignorant, obviously, of constitutional law. I just wish these politicians, man, would do their due diligence, do some research, read a book, get a clue before they put these ridiculous proposals forward. So that way they don't even have to go through all this nonsense and all this hassle and everything that they're causing everybody. See, that way if you at least know the law, you know the Constitution, you're not going to put forth a proposal that you know is going nowhere. In fact, this guy apparently has zero respect for people's property rights, their Fourth Amendment rights. I mean, we don't need people like this in office. They're nuts. They're extremists. And I think this guy is an extremist, anti-gun person. And I'm really glad that the police department is standing up to him on this and refusing to go along with it. I'd be very curious to hear what the positions of the other members of this city council are, but I'm assuming they probably, because even the police officer I talked to on the phone told me that they recognize that this proposal would be a disaster. That he used the word disaster to describe it, saying that Barry Greenfield removed his proposal after realizing what a disaster it would be. So he never should have proposed it to begin with. If he had, if this guy had. Anyway, thanks for watching this video. God bless you.